Everybody, and welcome to the final race of today, which is going to be at the Hungaroring in Hungary. And well, no real changes, to be perfectly fair. It's only been a week since the last race, no updates, nothing changes, so we're just going to crack right on. We're going to get involved in this, and we're going to do something in Hungary. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know, but we will find out. So we're going to crack straight on into qualifying and see how we get on.
Radio check.
Copy, radio check.
That's green now. Green now.
Actually gonna do enough to do 2 flying laps, I think. And so Jack is going to be the first one. So from the looks of it, we were about 2 seconds off the pace from the leaders throughout most of practice. Hopefully we can get a tiny bit closer. Jack's had a little bit of difficulty in the practice in Hungary. He's done quite a lot of running wide and spins and stuff like that, so I'm not expecting a good race from him. Hopefully Alex is going to be a lot smoother, a lot more in control. Jack currently up by 5 thousandths of a second compared to Albon in the first sector. Compared in sector 2. We're looking very, very close with both drivers. So Jack is 3/100ths of a second behind Albon after the first run. So they're going to do a nice cool down lap, and they're going to go for their second of their flying laps. So it's maybe worth giving it a try, considering obviously there's such short laps here in comparison. Currently 1 second off from Alonso, who's been performing very well in the entire season thus far. There are a couple of cars coming out onto the grid. Are they going to slow us down? Hopefully not. Hopefully they're going to move out of the way, give us a nice clean run. Absolutely fine there. So Jack currently slower in sector 1 compared to his first attempt. Alex though is gone green, he has gone faster. Jack is still slower in comparison, and he's got a lovely clean track. No one ahead or behind him. So this is not a good track for Jack as of yet. And Jack improves in sector 3, but not enough. Alex up by both. And unfortunately, I think Alex got caught in the traffic there at the end, which slowed him down, unfortunately. Alex coming down the pit lane. And we're going to go again. So Gasly and Stroll both quite a little bit off the pace at the moment. Alex has got some faster cars behind him, just trying to get by with the Alpine. That was Ocon. Okay, and Jack has just started his flying lap. The Alfa just gets out of the way there. He's got a nice clean run. Alex is right behind the Alpine there of Ocon and gets past him. So Jack's still slower in Sector 1 compared to his first ever lap. And Albon is also slower in Sector 1. Could have been a tiny bit of traffic there that just slowed him down a touch. Guan Yu Zhou is currently slower at this present moment in time. Verstappen, of course, clearly the fastest. Alonso doing very well up in P2 at the present moment in time. But of course, this is only qualifying number 1. Jack's still slower. Jack coming right down towards the final line. Can it beat his 1:05.9? No, he can't. So he's going to do a cool down and go again. And Albon also cannot improve. Okay, so Jack is ready to go again. Looks like no traffic at all. Nobody coming out of the pit lane. So no one to slow him down. And the same goes for Albon. So Jack is currently up in Sector 1 on his first attempt. As is Albon. Yeah, so currently about second, 1.7 off the pace. So better than practice. Jack a little bit slower though in Sector 2. Albon again a little bit slow in Sector 2. So Jack does marginally improve. Oh, bugger. So currently both of us out of the drop zone, definitely ahead of the Astons. Mick Schumacher's also slower, as is Gasly and Guan Yu Zhou. Both of them I would expect to improve. Okay, everyone is beginning to go out.
I think there's been a lock-up.
Oh.
Let's take a closer look. Now we see
Bottas has a lock-up on his outlap. That is not good. I think was that into turn 1 there. Actually, no, it can't be. So Norris is going to be the first one to go, followed by Verstappen, Gasly, and then is Jack. And we'll be able to see them as they cross the line where they finish up. Could this be the first time that we manage to get round and get out of Q1? It'd be a big ask. It's a big ask. But you never know what can happen. Okay, so Norris currently in 12th. He goes... Stays P12. Oh no, goes to 7th. Verstappen remains first for now. Gasly up to P5. That is big. Jack remains P16, so he's out. Bottas to 8th. And Albon is also out. So 16th and 17th. Unless anyone improves. Stroll does not. He stays 19th. Vettel for the moment is out for the first time, but Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher are both possibly going to knock them out. Depends what happens with them. Guan Yu Zhou coming around the final bend, as is Mick Schumacher. What's going to happen with Zhou and Mick Schumacher? Zhou goes 13th and knocks Vettel out. And Mick Schumacher improves, but only to P16. So Mick Schumacher is also out. So as with virtually every single race, it is the bottom 4, just in a different order, of the Astons and the Williams. I mean, it is literally fractional. Albon was about 4/10 away. So it's very marginal here in Hungary. Very, very marginal compared to other tracks where we've seen much bigger situations.
Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
Williams had a good performance in qualifying. Now they'll be eager to demonstrate that they can have an even better race. Haas gave a solid performance in qualifying, and they'll be happy enough with their grid position here. Let's see if they can make it work for them. And the sun is shining bright here today. This is perfect weather for teams and drivers alike to show us what they're capable of.
And Austria is always full of surprises, so who knows what lies in store here at the Red Bull Ring.
And I've just realised that I've been calling it the Hungaroring and thinking that we're in Hungary. I do apologise. Hopefully someone's noticed my glaring error there. This is a problem when you do a lot of these races. They all kind of blur into one another. So my apologies to any Austrians there for getting you confused with Hungary. Not my intention, I assure you. Okay, so of course, we set up our driver options. We are going full deploy at the very start. I'm just gonna drop down the starting fuel load just a little bit, because we've been very good with our fuel consumption thus far. Now, in terms of our strategy, I'm thinking of doing a split strategy on this occasion. No, I'm not. We're going to be going hards to softs, I think, on this one. Because tyre wear has been very, very good. And in comparison, you're literally talking a single second compared to the first two. So, again, you never know what's going to happen. But I think... And you know what? I am going to go split strategy today for a little change. Yeah, I'm going to go for split strategy. Start Albon on the mediums and go to the hards, whereas Jack will do the opposite. It will start on the hards but finish on the softs. Do a little split strategy. Don't normally do this, so we'll see. But again, I'm just going to lower down the fuel just a little bit, and driver options. Just need to change that here to obviously send this at the start. Well, no more dilly-dallying. Let's crack on with the Austrian Grand Prix, not the Hungarian, the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. Will Red Bull win at the Red Bull Ring? We're about to find out.
It's bright and sunny as the drivers line up on the grid. Here we have Alexander Albon. They're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. And looking at the second Williams car. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. And we're just moments away now. It's the race we've all been waiting for. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Oof. So Jack has lost out a little bit at the start. Nobody is starting on the softs. I very much doubted that anyone would go for that. Oh! Suddenly a big old stop. I don't know why Albon could have tried to send it and just go a little bit deeper.
Good job.
Let's reduce left and coast by 1 level. Yep, copy.
Lico increase, please.
Copy.
So Vettel's already been able to overtake Mick Schumacher and get over him. And Tsunoda has already gone out of DRS range from Guan Yu Zhou, which is going to leave a little bit of a DRS train when this obviously builds in, and Stroll is also dropping back.
You can afford to drop back. Okay, copy.
Okay, back off.
So currently Perez and Verstappen are behind the two Ferraris. Russell all the way down in 10th, which is very bad for the Mercedes. But Alonso is having a blinder, the three-time world champion. He's having an incredible season, definitely boosting the Alpine way further than he realistically deserves to be on paper. But McLaren are the team that is doing really badly, especially Lando Norris.
DRS is enabled.
DRS has been enabled, and Stroll is already outside of DRS range. So I think.
Check the DRS.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Sorry, I forgot about that.
So what DRS? Copy.
So Albon's already pulled one level of fuel back. And we're just going to speed up here. Big old massive DRS change. Vettel is outside of the DRS range as it currently stands. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Maybe somebody went a little bit wide.
I think someone's run wide.
And it was Gasly.
Now look at this. It's Pierre Gasly. Well, I don't know what they were
onto the
thinking
gravel
there.
track. Oh!
Completely off the race.
Nearly took out the Alfa Romeo there.
The team are really disappointed with that. Let's hope it doesn't.
So I'm not sure who that was, which Alfa. It was Bottas. Nearly took out Bottas there. He would not have been happy, and I can assure you of that. So Stroll so far back on the hard compound tyres is already 2.5 seconds back. This is going to be a long race, I think, for Lance Stroll. If you're a fan of Lance Stroll, please drop a comment down below. Let me think. Let me know what you think of him. Personally, from the interviews I've seen of him, I don't personally like him as a person. He seems very arrogant, and not like Verstappen, where he almost has a right to be a little bit cocky. For me, Lance Stroll has done nothing to kind of show that he deserves to be cocky. At least Nicholas Latifi, you can say, okay, he's not a great driver and he's always towards the back of the grid. He is at least, he's reasonably nice about it, Okay, so we're just gonna fast forward through a few laps. It's all remaining fairly consistent at the moment. Yeah, Lance Stroll just dropping further and further and further back. Already 6 seconds. It could very easily get to a situation where he could be more than a pit stop down by the time we get to the first multiple crash. Oh my God!
Who's running wide?
VSC.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now we see Valtteri Bottas. They're forced wide, and there we can see them slide off.
Oh, is that what caused the crash? No.
And that was a bitter blow for the team, and it may have really hurt their overall chances.
Because there was definitely some cars spun and stopped on the track.
That's a VSC.
Sounds like a few cars have crashed.
Ah, here it is. Here's a replay for the crash.
Ricardo involved here.
Ricardo. Oh!
Goodness me, that is a serious collision.
That was a big one. Is that Bottas and Ricardo? Yes, so I think it was because Bottas spun out, which basically enabled Ricciardo to catch up with him, and then they collided with each other. Are they going to be coming into the pits? Ricciardo is in the pits. Bottas, though, no. Didn't seem like he sustained any damage. We'll just take a look. No damage that I can see. So it looks like he's okay. So that means Albon is currently up into P16. Jack is currently up into P17. And Lance Stroll is currently around about 10-11 seconds off the pace. And Ricciardo is only just now coming out of the pit, so he must have had a front wing change there. So he is really down the order there. But luckily he's got the... Well, I think he would have hoped for a full safety car. That may have enabled him to catch back up to the grid. As it is with the VSC, it just neutralises everything. You're only allowed... I think you can go to 40% of your normal speed, the normal delta.
VSC ending, VSC ending.
Okay, so we're gonna just push.
Let's close this gap.
For...
Yes.
Oh, God. Just gonna push fuel-wise a little bit.
Reduce the lift and core.
Okay.
So about half a second behind Vettel at the present moment in time. There's only a few, about 2/10 off Schumacher ahead, but he's quite a way back from Tsunoda, who's really trundling away. So I'm just going to come back there, but we'll stay with the fuel for the time being. Another yellow flag in sector 2. So someone's ran wide. Who was that on this occasion? It was Kevin Magnussen. So Bottas is quite rapidly catching up with Jack. So we're just gonna fast forward through a little bit, and we're on board with Valtteri Bottas at the moment, who is right behind our driver Jack Doohan. And Stroll looks like he may have caught up a little bit. He's only about 8 seconds behind now. But DRS has been enabled. DRS has been re-enabled following that VSC. And Ricciardo very far down the order after having to pit and obviously change his front wing following that crash. Bottas really hoping to try and get past Jack here. Is he able to do it on the pit straight? Coming up to turn 1 of the elevation. No, he is not. The DRS should come in here. So he's going to really try and push it. Is not able to on this occasion. But he has now got past Albon because Jack Doohan has actually overtaken Albon.
Gained for Alfa Romeo.
So that puts Doohan into 17th, followed by Albon in 18th.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
Sebastian Vettel doing very well. Oh, he was in P14 as I started speaking, but he's just been overtaken again by Mick Schumacher. Up at the front of grid, still the same front two of Leclerc and Sainz. have already dropped Perez by 4.7 seconds. So this track really suiting the straight line speed of those Ferraris compared to the Red Bulls, who, from what I've been able to see, they are better in the corners compared to the Ferraris.
And a new position just gained by Williams.
And Doohan has managed to overtake Bottas again.
We see the Williams here.
So this is the problem with the DRS. When you get stuck in these, it's often very much tit for tat, and no one can quite manage to pull away. Once again, the fuel is really good. That's one thing I can say that we are really good at for these Williams. Our fuel burnout is really good, so we're able to push a lot harder with our fuel in comparison to everyone else. And Bottas has managed to get ahead again. But unfortunately, all of this squabbling is meaning that we are dropping further and further away from Vettel. Right, so I'm just going to ask Jack to allow Albon to go away, not to try and overtake him.
Good job.
Because again, there's a lot of squabbling going on.
Overtake from Williams.
So only playing a little bit with team orders, only just a little bit. Oh, Bottas has run wide.
Let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one.
So he's not having a good race, and that's what's allowed us to just manage to get away from him. But it is looking like his tyres are dying off, so it looks like he will probably be coming in for a pit very soon. He's got a lot more tyre degradation, Bottas, compared to anyone else that you can see. Obviously, like Albon is double what he had. So this has not been good for those tyres. It must have been that impact with Ricciardo really had an impact. But then of course he's had a couple of spins and he's run wide, so this of course does not help. So is Bottas maybe going to be coming into the pit lane? No, he does stay out at least for another lap. I just want to conserve our fuel loads again a little bit. Jack's really high. He's on full pelt with his fuel, but he's like 13 laps up. This is incredible, absolutely incredible. But is that right? Is that saying 72 kilos of fuel, whereas Albon's got 71 kilos of fuel and he's 3 laps down? Is that a glitch? Is that a glitch? Has anyone seen this? And anyone who maybe have played this game themselves? Is this something that they've seen? Something doesn't quite add up there in my humble opinion. But tyre wear is very good for Albon, so I'm just going to ask him to push a little bit more. Jack's remaining quite on target, and obviously he's going a little bit longer, closer to lap 50 before switching on to those hard compound tyres. But yeah, Bottas surely is going to be coming into pit soon. If he's on 28% of his tyre wear, again, unless that's a glitch and he's supposed to be 68%, because I see a lot of a lot of drivers, a lot of the AI do stop a lot earlier than they ever get to this point. That could possibly be a little glitch there, a little graphical glitch. But Jack doing incredibly well, keeping pace with Albon being on the quote-unquote harder and slower tyre. So again, we're going to fast forward a little bit. We're getting towards the pit windows very soon. Yeah, Bottas down to 24% on his tyres. Doesn't seem right to me. Jack's still got 13 plus laps of fuel. Surely that is a mistake. Surely. That can't be right. Unfortunately, we're just dropping further and further away from Albon. Sorry, from Vettel at this stage. But Albon's dropping further from Vettel. He's getting towards the pit window, so I'm going to ask him to go even more attacking now.
I'm happy to push on if we can.
Okay.
Okay, we just entered the pit window. Yeah, Bottas apparently down to 23%. But yeah, he's still really keeping pace. I mean, what was the last lap? I mean, Bottas was faster than Jack and Albon in the last lap, despite being apparently down to 22% of his tyre wear. I want to keep an eye on that and see if this is a potential glitch. So a lot of the drivers are now starting to come into pits, those that are on the medium tyres. Bottas still not in, despite being apparently on 20%.
Schumacher has pitted.
So we're going to go full send, full send.
Yep, copy.
Still got a lot of tyre wear left. And Jack is still so close to him. Bottas still on 20% of his tyres. Sorry that I'm talking so much about Bottas's tyres. Don't know why. But Jack's got a lot lower percentage in comparison to many of the others. You can see that, you know, Hamilton's on 71%, whereas Jackson's 75%. Bottas is finally into the pit. Finally into the pit. And this is going to be our ideal stop. Or do we carry on a little bit longer? Now we're going full send and we're coming in this lap. Which is saying our estimated exit position is going to be in P20.
Okay, box.
Okay, box.
We'll get them to come round and then we're just going to bring these back down to normal levels.
Yeah.
So I'm asking Jack now just to push that a little bit more. So where is Jack going to come out? Is he going to come out be ahead of Stroll? I think he might do. It's going to be tight. But he does come out ahead of Lance Stroll. So Lance Stroll has managed to get out that little bit closer in comparison. And Albon currently about 8 seconds off Vettel. Now Stroll's really trying to have a go now. And finally the fuel wise is coming down for Jack. Maybe that was because he was stuck behind Albon all that time and just couldn't push enough because he couldn't go into that clean air. Maybe that's why it was. So Jack has got Guan Yu Zhou right behind him. Of course, he is on an alternative strategy. And Stroll has managed to get ahead. Oh, and then Albon has immediately got it back. So this is a battle I want to take a look at for the time being. Just keep an eye on there. Obviously, Bottas is coming right behind him. Now, clearly, Ricciardo is going to have to pit again. I cannot see that he'll get to the end on his set of medium compound tyres. Stroll, very much a possibility that he may have to as well. So we're not too worried at this present moment in time. So of course it's not till around about lap 50 when Jack's going to be coming in for his pit. So we'll just keep an eye out.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
Jack doing very well in P14. Mick Schumacher around about 10 seconds behind him.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
Bottas starting to make his way back into it a little bit. And Hamilton's currently up to P4.
McLaren gain a position. Sounds like we've had a spin. Someone's run wide.
So Jack has finally got Mick Schumacher right behind him on his tail. Lance Stroll did have to make another stop, as I suspected he probably would. But Jack's tyre wear still doing very, very well indeed.
Haas with an overtake there.
And we are going to be getting towards that pit window very, very soon. And speak of the devil.
And that's the lock-up. Let's take a closer look. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here. Oh, and there's the lock-up.
Oof.
That's the last thing they'll have wanted.
So Alonso, despite starting really well, has been dropping back a little bit.
Box, what line?
Okay, so we want to send absolutely everything now. So Albon's tyre wear is definitely doing a lot better than expected, so
the tyres.
we're definitely going to start pushing now.
Copy.
So Jack is finally in for his pit stop. And Albon has managed to overtake Ricciardo.
Now we see the Williams here.
Oh, around the outside. You don't often see that. Oh, a little swerve in front of him.
That was a big moment. The team are clearly delighted.
Very shiny helmets there by the team. And going on to the soft compound tyres. And he ends up behind Ricciardo as it currently stands. And how far is he going to be behind them? He's currently about 6 seconds behind Ricciardo. But he's on much faster tyres. Hopefully anyway. And Albon has now been re-overtaken by Ricciardo again. Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda into the pit lane. Or rather, just coming out of the pit now. So 19 laps remaining. Well, it'll be 18 because Zhou downwards have all been lapped, as is always the case in Austria. I think when I looked at it, the last one was very, very much shorter.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
So despite being on the hard tyres, Jack's currently still further away than Albon at the present moment in time. Then he is being slowed down by the Mercedes there of Lewis Hamilton, which is slowing him down. He's got to get out of the way for blue flags. And yet, why is he trying to get past him?
And a new position just gained by Williams. Here's the replay. Now we see the Williams here.
Very much a tug of war between these two this race.
And there they go, moving up a position in the pack. The driver's team there cheering them on.
Oh, another mannequin just towards the left hand side. You can see his hand literally so stationary. Oh.
With a great overtake.
Unfortunately, even with the soft tyres, maybe that was just pushing a little bit too much.
They've locked up and gone straight on.
I just want to be hard a bit so I don't get miss what's happening because of these messages popping up. So Albon 18, Doohan 19th, Stroll 20th. Oh, and Albon just takes Ricciardo again. I'd love it if Albon was overtaking Verstappen. That'd be a big goal change there.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
At this moment in time, who's going to finish ahead of the other is anyone's guess at this moment in time. They're changing positions almost on a lap by lap basis.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
Vettel currently doing extremely well up in P15. Bottas just not really able to close the gap to him. But Albon has managed to pull out a bit of a gap.
Who's running wide there? Let's have
Bottas run wide again.
See Valtteri Bottas. Well, I don't know what they were thinking there. They're completely...
Bottas is having a dreadful time this race. This is definitely one of those weekends that he will want to forget.
What happened out there?
So the strategy for Jack going on to the Haas isn't really paying dividends because, to be honest, the speed advantage is just not there for him. It's just not there. Yeah, flag in sector 1.
Looks like there's been a lock-up.
There's Kevin Magnussen. So many lockups in this one. Not many collisions. Only the one so far, which was, of course, the Bottas and the Ricciardo one, which enabled Bottas to enabled Albon to challenge with Ricciardo. But beyond that, it's been a very quiet race, I would say. And Albon's going to be having some more blue flag runners behind him, which could enable Ricciardo to come back into this a little bit, to speed up here a little bit. Oh my god, there's almost 3 wide there. And he's finally having to move out of the way to the Alpine, followed by the Mercedes of Russell, followed by, I believe, is that Gasly? But because he's able to do it on the straight, he's not going to lose out too much time there. The gap to Ricciardo is still almost 4 seconds. But Jack is starting to close ever so slightly towards Ricciardo.
We are happy to push.
Okay.
We look at reducing the lift and core.
Copy.
So there's a possibility. It looks like he is starting to gain. Oh, and Ricciardo's in the pits. Ricciardo is in the pits. That is surprising. That's very, very late. I did think he might have to pit again, but that is extremely late with only a couple of laps remaining. He might have been better off. Well, actually, to be fair, we were catching him. So the tyres must have been dying. And he has gone on to the soft compound tyres. He is about 17 seconds behind Jack. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up that in, what, 4 laps? Okay, just ease back, please. Another driver locked up in sector 1. Who was that? Was that Vettel, maybe?
Up there. Let's see what
it was Sebastian Vettel.
So this was the Aston Martin. And there's the lockup. It almost got away from him entirely.
What does that mean for Albon? How has he been able to gain anything there? No, it's still about 11 seconds there. And we're getting down to the final couple of laps, and it will be as it were. Ricciardo is gaining, but nowhere near close enough, nowhere near fast enough to be able to do this. So we'll just follow on board for Carlos Sainz, who is currently leading by 13.5 seconds. to his teammate Charles Leclerc. This is an incredible drive. So we'll just watch him carry out his final lap to win the Austrian Grand Prix. I do that so much. Ricciardo down by another second, but make up 7 seconds in the final lap. Isn't going to happen. Albon is going to have to do one more lap, unless he gets overtaken by Sainz, or rather lapped by Sainz. I'm going to ask Albon to attack for the very final lap.
Go push.
Yep, okay.
Just give him that chance of catching up. And well done there to Sainz.
And Sainz crosses the line first. He's taken the win.
Copy.
Any chance of catching up to Vettel, making up 7 seconds in half a lap. Unless we suddenly get a going wide or a lock up or anything like that, it ain't gonna happen. Which that's been the main corner where that has happened. So no. Vettel is gonna manage to come home, finishing in 16th, followed by Albon in 17th, which is not too bad. Not too bad. Obviously, the incident with Ricciardo has helped and boosted us. Still got a little ways to go. In my head, before starting this season, I was thinking, you know, could it be like maybe, you know, do a couple of upgrades and, you know, maybe halfway through the season, you know, we'd be kind of averaging around about 13th, 14th all the time. But it's not. It's not as easy as that, which I like, because it is a challenge.
This was a mixed performance from Williams today. Some excellent decisions and then some strategies that will need a bit of work.
Yes, this was a contrasted performance, but there were some good moments. There is promise here of great things down the line.
With the race wrapped up, the team is ranked in 9th in the constructor standings.
Okay, so any changes at the bottom? Nope, absolutely not. Nothing has changed down there. Not that I would have expected it to. Constructors, we still remain ahead of the Aston at this moment in time. Of course, we can't overtake Haas unless we earn points, which we were so close to. So close to last time out. I was gutted that we didn't quite manage to do it. Another point for Jack. Another 3.7 mil in the bank. So we're going to spend his development point. I think that's going to be the smoothness again. Like I said, that's the only one we're working on at this present moment in time, because it's so low, that one. And we finally upgraded our race simulator, which is going to mean that we're going to get even more experience points for our 2 drivers. There we go. So another one for Jack, as you can see, 45 out of 100. Yeah, and his next one is 62%. So once we've got this kind of into that same kind of level, I definitely think we need to, yeah, I mean, his braking's not too bad. I mean, his highest one is definitely his reactions. So coming fast out the corners and obviously at the start of the race. Yeah, so we've got a little while to go. But of course he's only 19, so we can do lots of stuff with him. And of course Alex hasn't currently gone up in his overall as of yet, but we have earned a couple of points to help him out. is gaining some nice nice boost. It's got a bonus to his morale again, and then of course his experience gain now. He's got a really good affinity now with James Irwin, his engineer. A year left on his contract. Okay, so well, I just realised because the old team, which was of course Toro Rosso, started off with Red Bull, but then they switched him with Pierre Gasly. Was it Gasly? Yeah, it was Gasly. They don't have the logo for them because obviously they're now a defunct team. But he's here with us with Williams and he's averaging around about P17, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. But coming up for the calendar, we've got another week left to go before we go to France. We're going to have the regulations vote next week. Oh, actually, they're being proposed today. So we need to take a look at these, actually. We'll do that now. Right. So, as you may know, we may change the regulations that define the rules between seasons to make the sport fairer for competitors and more engaging for fans. With these goals in mind, we're proposing new regulations for next year. To increase competition at the top of the grid, we propose a new scoring system that will see the top 8 drivers bring home points, with a smaller gap between the first and second places. And what does that mean? Okay, right, so what they are proposing, so they're not saying that you get a bonus point if you finish in pole position. This is during the qualifying, so that will not change. They're proposing to take away the fastest lap bonus points. They do not want to introduce double points for the final race. But what they're looking to do is shorten the gap points-wise. So you would have to finish in the top, only the top 8 drivers would score points. 9th and 10th would not get any points. For us, that is a big deal. We're struggling to get to them. So I'm going to say no, I do not want that. I want at least people going down to as far as 10th to still be able to get the opportunity to score points. So I'm going against that specific one. So we'll know in a week's time, which, to be honest, we might as well skip through to that. Okay. Let's have a look. Good morning, Kevin. Annual Amrico F1 in Schools World Finals this time with the aim to spread awareness about careers in science and engineering. These are more exciting way for them to learn about engineering. We know that practicing F1 professionals sharing their passion and experience will only enhance the competition. So we can attend and we would earn ourselves an extra 100 grand, but the staff wouldn't get any experience for the next 7 days. I'm happy with that. I like money. I like getting the extra money in. Okay, so we skip forward a week and we'll get the results of that proposal for the regulation change. Well, we've only got 3 of the suspensions. To be honest, I will manufacture 1. So then we know we've got 2 spares, just to be on the safe side. And what is going to happen? Is it going to be the same as it currently is, or are we going to get less chances for points? Thank you for all teams for voting on the proposed sporting regulation changes. The majority are for these changes, so the below sporting regulations will be included as part of next season. Okay. You see the full breakdown of team responses attached. Please note that in the case of tie, we will always cast the deciding vote. So only 4 teams didn't want this to come in. Red Bull, Mercedes, Alpine and Williams, which obviously was us. Haas, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, McLaren and Ferrari have all voted that they do want this. Oh. Right. I'm not happy with that, because our chances of getting points was already difficult, let alone having to make sure that we get 8th place. I mean, it might be good for the top of the grid, you know, a little bit. You know, when you look at it, you know, points, you know, it's only a 9-point difference between 8th and 1st, compared to previous where it was, what, 21 points between 8th and 1st. But from a selfish point of view, from, you know, the fact that we can't really challenge at the moment, you know, every point is precious. It's a shame that that is coming in, but these things happen. You know, it's a democracy for a reason. So we're going to leave it there for this evening. Thank you very much for tuning in for the 3 races I've done today. This has been episode number 8. So I will be back tomorrow evening. So until then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. As always, leave me a like, drop me a comment, like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, or you don't have to. At the end of the day, it's your decision. I hope you do, because I hope you stay with me for the remainder of this journey. I'd like a few more people to comment along and give me some feedback on things that you think I'm doing well or doing wrong at, and if you have any tips on where you think I should be looking to try to improve the team. But until next time, goodbye.